I'm going to try to...
Let me invite her again.
Oh, is she? Okay. Hey, Donna. Satiti. Oh, let's see. Why is this? Oh, copy link. There we go. That's what I want to do. Link copied. So now I want to, okay. Beth Ann Dice, hello.
Good. Everything's going good so far.
Well, yeah, I just
Judy, for some reason, she's having a hard. It's probably something I did. Judy's very computer literate, like I am.
All right, I think. Hold on. Let's. Let me just refresh this page here.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
And why did that not work? I just posted it. Hey.
Oh.
Okay, so there's I'm seeing the link to our show. Create, oh, wait a minute. I want it to go to our timeout page.
So just go to timeout and post the link.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, everybody, while Eric is.
Yeah, just don't mind me.
Fast.
Hey, folks, how are you? Nance, why don't you talk football for a few minutes? I don't care.
Oh, we were talking about football. Well, we were trying to decide because.
How about them Buffalo Bills?
Yeah. I am not this huge sports fan, but when it gets this close with the Bills, it's been 25 years. It's been 25 years, and one more game and they're in. So we're deciding whether we even want to broadcast next week, because if they win that game, that's going to be super exciting, and everybody might want to be watching that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thinking. So just be watching whether we're going to even broadcast next week. We don't know. we don't know.
Let's see. Liz Johnson misses you.
Oh, I miss her so much. She's a wonderful singer. She was a student for a while. She's an absolutely lovely person.
Beautiful.
Really.
And so is our guest coming up tonight. All right, I'm going to try this again. All right, I copied the link. I am now on the timeout page. I'm going to create post.
Yeah, and you just put the link in the post.
And that's what I'm doing.
It should populate it with the show.
That's what I'm doing. And I am clicking post.
Let me see if I can help you.
And, oh, wait. Okay, you wrote on that. Maybe that will work?
Let me see if I can help you. Hold on. Everybody bear with us. We're trying a whole new thing, and we're soon to get up and running here. Let me see if I can help you with this. Post.
You asked me to do one cockamamie job, and
there it is. It's up on timeout.
It is up on timeout.
Yep. There you
Lovely.
Go.
All right. Well, let me, I want to see your lovely face. I want to kind of reduce my screen here. And, there you are. Okay. So yes, for those of you who did join us last week, if you didn't join us right away, then you couldn't join us for our show with.
Yeah, you had to be in from the get-go.
You had to be in.
You had to be in from the get-go, or you weren't getting on. That sounds like some sort of tongue twister.
Now, do you want to, for people who did not get to see what we felt was one of the best shows we've done with Giacomo Gates. That show,
so fun. Oh my God. So I found an app. Where I was able to screen record the show with audio. Trust me, you can go on your Mac or your PC and you can record something, but you don't get the audio.
Right.
So today I pulled that off, and got it up on YouTube. And if anybody wants to see the Giacomo show, it's up there. The quality isn't as good as when we do it like this,
but just the fact that we were so, you and I spoke after the show last week, and we were just worried that the show had just poof.
No, and anybody that knows me knows I am just a determined woman. So I was like, no, we get to have our show.
Wait, you are a determined woman? Really? That's news to me. No.
But I don't bother you. You like it.
You can bother me all you want. But anyway, so we do appreciate our early birds last week who were able to catch the entire program. And again, Giacomo was he was such a great sport, even though we were trying to troubleshoot a little bit during the show. But thanks to my beautiful and talented co-host, it appears that we're streaming on, I think it's the first time that we're actually right now streaming on 2 platforms.
Yeah.
Facebook and YouTube. So we're excited. Oh, thanks for the hearts. I love when we get hearts in the chat. We got about 16 people watching right now. I love it.
Let me put this to the top.
My friend Renee just dropped in from Florida. Hey, Renee. Renee is starting to become a weekly viewer to the program.
Yeah, we're good. So, I think we got it all covered. We got all our bases covered here.
We got all our bases covered.
Yeah, we're doing good. I think everybody's like, yay! Hearts,
look at all the hearts
fireworks, and everybody's like, yay!
I love to see
Texas. Hello, Kimberly.
Wow, Kimberly Mackey Christensen from Texas loves Nancy Kelly. Doesn't care about Eric Cohen. All right. Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate it. But that's okay. She
must be a wise butt.
It's okay. Show Nancy all the love, please.
I need some love. Although I was just thinking about it earlier. I'm waiting for Judy to log in here. I was thinking about it earlier. I think I've had one of the best 8 months of my life, just staying home and working with my students and working on music. Hey, what did you think of my
What a difference.
Oh,
yeah. Now I think I've guilted Kimberly, and she said, I'm so sorry. Kimberly, you have to understand, I'm all about sarcasm. So
yeah, we both are. It's really bad.
When you say love Nancy Kelly and don't mention my name, I don't take offense to that, please. It's quite all right.
She was kidding. She's just playing with us. So.
And Donna says that I'm now her number 1 fan. That's wow. That means a lot. And Kimberly just gave kind of the reason why she loves you. She listens to you on Pandora at work, and her husband is a musician too. And they named looks like
they named their daughter Jazz.
I was gonna say they named their daughter Jazz. I love that.
You had a little puppy named Jazz. Too.
How'd you know? You knew I was gonna go there.
I knew it. I beat you to it.
Well, and you know what? Since you brought him up, real quick, why not?
Here we go.
For anybody that's
here comes the puppy.
For anybody that's never seen this picture, I did have a dog, and he had a very unique skill. He was able to take us out for drives on the weekend. So that's my little Jazzy. Yeah, I miss that little guy. But there's just something about the name Jazz, and I know that there are people with the name Jazz and pets with the name Jazzy, and so anyway.
What will we do? And I'm the techie here. Maybe I don't know why she said the link I gave her isn't working.
You're live 3 nights a week. I'm sorry, I'm just reading the chat. So, okay, so our guest, we should let people know before, as she's trying to log in. Our guest, we hope, is going to be West Coast-based vocalist Judy Wexler. We're very excited about this. We're excited about all of our guests. And, as usual, Nancy Kelly was instrumental in booking Judy for tonight. So, all right. Well, hopefully Judy will log in momentarily. You were saying, she said that the link is not working for her.
I don't know why I've never had anything like this happen again.
All right. Well, then it just might be you and I for.
She said she's going to switch computers. Well, that's all right. You and I can talk on forever.
We can keep chatting. So Jim Barbados. So we started usually we start talking about something and then 10 seconds later we kind of take a detour.
I'm trying to text and I'm trying to do all. My God.
But let me just publicly say how enjoyable it was to watch that recording with you and Will.
Well, let me tell a little while we're waiting for Judy.
Yeah, talk about this.
I don't want to impose on her time about my baloney, but William, the young man playing the organ, was my vocal student, and he was with me throughout his later years in high school. And he was studying piano at the time with Rick Montalbano. So he was getting it from both sides, from two pretty serious jazzers, And I convinced him. Yeah. I said, if you want to get in this business, you got to go to New York, my love. And so he went to school in New York. He got his degree, and he's since toured all over the world. It's fine, Oh. It's really fine, and it was a thrill to see us together, because I was dreaming when I was teaching him. I thought someday we'll work together. That'll be great. And I would love to do some gigs, like that little trio would be a killing trio, But that's why I kind of put the stuff up. You keep hoping somebody will say, geez, we should invite Nancy to do this or that. That's the way we do. We'll talk to Judy about that, because she knows quite a bit about the business. She knows a lot about the business.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued to talk to her about knowing the business as well as she does. But for folks who haven't checked it out, they can find the video on your page, right, on Facebook. You yourself. William Gorman. What was that?
Said William Gorman should be a guest.
I see that. That's not a bad idea. It really isn't. You, William, and actually the gentleman he was supposed to be our guest next week. However, the Buffalo Bills playing.
I'm worried about. I was going to ask Carmen, because Carmen is from Buffalo, and he even has a little Buffalo Bills hat for his little boy Jake.
Yeah. So we may have to reschedule Carmen, but he may prefer watching the football game next week.
Are you ready?
Looks like we have somebody ready
Let's
to be
bring
admitted.
her on. I can't wait for you all to meet my friend Judy. Let's bring her on.
Hey, can I do the honors?
Would you please?
I have never actually. This is like our 32nd show.
Oh,
I've
God.
What? We've been going for a while. We're coming. All right, I'm going to click admit. I've never admitted a guest before. Let's see if by admitting. Okay, there we go. By the way, we have Rocco Barbados' younger brother joining us, Jim Barbados, in the chat.
Very nice.
All right, we should be seeing the beautiful face.
I think we hear Judy, but we don't see her video yet.
Okay.
We hear her. We hear her.
Okay, I'm coming.
And there she is.
This is great. Oh my gosh.
Hi, you guys.
Hey, Judy.
We're like, I tried this restream thing and I was like, it's not going to work.
It was my fault. I don't want to take any time with boring stuff, but
go ahead.
My new computer died last week, and so blah blah blah. I finally got everything working, so we're good.
We are good. We're good. No,
Good to
this,
see you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, you're just the best. You're one of my LA sisters. I mean,
I know.
my God,
miss
you're like
you.
part of my little jazz singer lady
I know you
family.
and me and Julie Kelly.
Well, we
and
just better put that picture
well,
up.
yeah. I mean, come on. As soon as you said you're my jazz sister, I gotta share this picture. Judy's gonna love this.
No, it's a good one.
It's
What
a great
is
picture.
it? Oh yes. You know how long ago that was? That
Please.
was.
I can't even imagine.
Can you see? Okay, so that, there was another time, Nancy, when you sang at the Crab something. It called the Crab. It was in Glendale. Merle Krybeck produced it.
Oh, are you?
Clancy's. Didn't you have a gig at Clancy's like a million years ago?
Yeah. Well, Merle brought me out a lot.
Yeah,
But where was this? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
This was at the Crown Plaza.
Oh, the Crown. Okay.
And that's at the LAX International Airport. Here's Denise Donatelli, Julie Kelly, Judy Wexler, and with my tush sticking out. And
Would you look at how adorable you are?
I must say, and I love your hair. It's all like got that Bernadette Peters look.
My hair. Well, that's my original hair.
But we like that.
You do like it? Well,
we do like that.
My husband likes it better too. See, I've just kind of controlled it a little with
No, we like the curls. I
with
bet
tools.
But let's tell them about, of course, now Denise went on to she's gone on to have a fabulous career, and she's with High Note Records. Well, Savant, I think, right?
Right.
She's
do you know what Denise is doing right now? She's actually watching our show.
Hi, Denise.
Yeah, because she just
so long.
She just typed in the chat in case you forgot. She typed in Crown Plaza.
That's right. Yes, see, I was right.
You were right. So
we do remember some things.
How did we all meet? Well, let's go around the table here, though. And then Julie Kelly, a very well-established jazz singer in the LA area. Just everyone loves Julie. She's just as lovely as you see her there. They all everyone knows her. I think I just had met her for the first time here. I think I just met all you guys for the first time here.
Yeah, well, I think that we met before this gig at Clancy's, because we all came to see you at Clancy's also, and you did I do remember this. You did Clancy's before you did this gig at the Crown Plaza. So maybe you had done Clancy's the year before.
What was the name of that bar? Well, it isn't a Clancy's. What was the name of the bar where I worked with Roy McCurdy and John?
Was it? It might have been.
It's the guy that owned it was from
Charlie O's. You were probably at Charlie O's, right?
Charlie.
And they're long gone at this point.
I know. Well, isn't everything?
Yeah. Oh.
Well, sadly, it's getting well.
But
we'll see what rises up from the ashes, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Can we see ourselves again, Eric?
What's that?
Can we see ourselves again? There, thank you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I mean, it's sad because I know, the Blue Whale here just closed.
You just lost. I just saw that.
And several venues are asking for money to support, and even venues that own the building. When this first started, I thought, well, the venues that own their buildings are going to be in okay shape. I think they're going to survive, but maybe not. The government, I hope, will step in and save.
Well, now that we
venues.
got Joe and that somebody cares about the arts.
Yeah, I mean, thank the universe. I can't wait till Wednesday.
We're all like,
president.
I'm cleared my day.
Me too. I think we're going to break, it's 9:00 here. We'll break out the champagne and
I'm seriously thinking of having a day drink.
I was thinking that might be a good day. A lot of people might be imbibing that afternoon?
Well, I think, on November 7th, when he was declared the winner, Joe Biden, remember everybody was dancing in the street across the country.
Right.
I think it's going to be times 10 on Wednesday. That's my prediction, that it'll just be full on.
I just hope they don't, those people that don't want it to happen don't make too much trouble.
I know.
Well, I'm thinking with the large armed National Guard presence, you'd have to be really a moron to face that.
But let's
not that.
Let's not go any further with that conversation.
Yeah, really.
It's a rabbit hole we're going to avoid. Yeah.
there you go.
Because Nancy and I have gone down that rabbit hole before.
Yeah, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. No way, baby. Yeah. Well, we have a little bit of hope in our lives, all of us,
We do.
I mean, those that are in the arts, especially the arts, we're really hopeful. And as I loved your phrase, you said, "We'll see what comes up from the ashes." That's a really great way to put it.
And because there will be a resurgence. I mean, there will be. It's not a maybe. It's a definite.
Well, I don't have any plans to quit working. I don't know about you. I can't wait to go out and do some gigs.
Yeah. And
I
so
can't wait to come back to LA. I was just in LA right when it started. I was there. You had written me and said you weren't feeling too well. You were going to come over to Vitella.
Right, yes.
Yeah. So I want to come back.
And they're one of the venues that is sending out an SOS too.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
and they
Michael
do.
Feinstein. Come on, isn't he loaded?
Well, I don't know what their arrangement is.
Yeah, right.
Is Catalina's still an opera?
Catalina's has been fundraising.
Okay.
They are in an expensive property in
Right.
Hollywood. It's a very large space, and I don't know, but I sincerely doubt that they own that real estate. So, who knows what their rent agreements are during this time, but they are asking for help. So
yeah. And of course, on our coast, I mean, the Jazz Standard is,
it's so sad.
Is now
I love the Jazz Standard
for rent, and Nance,
so many people there. Did you ever get a chance? Birdland. Somebody just raised $250,000 for him.
Oh, good.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Oh God, we couldn't lose. Birdland is an institution. It's not just a jazz club. It's the jazz institution,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Dizzy's. I haven't asked anybody, but I know they're struggling. They're struggling in New York too. They're really struggling. But we're all right. We're gonna come out of this now. We've got the vaccine tooling around, and
I know quite a few people who are getting vaccinated already.
Well, I can. I'm old enough to, but the problem is you can't get one, because there was some little hanky panky going on where so and so was mad with New York and a certain governor, and so he was going to. There's not enough vaccine here.
Well, I think that's a national problem.
I
do know two people that got vaccinated just a few days ago. My parents.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good for them. Yeah. I know several people that have gotten vaccinated.
And the only reason they did is that a friend of theirs happened to go to an urgent care facility and asked if she mentioned that she had a friend who was, my parents were in their early 80s, and they were able to kind of squeeze them in literally before they ran out of their current dosage of the vaccine. So, it was kind of a fluky way that it happened. But when they gave me the news on Friday, I was just so thrilled. Now, of course, they've got to go back again in 4 weeks to get the second dose. But I was just thrilled to hear that they got the first, because right now, again, that's the big thing, is getting more and more people. The more people we get vaccinated, the faster we are going to get to the other side.
Well, I think the new
people. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, well, I was just saying the new president has a very robust plan, and he's got very, very competent people working for him. So I'm feeling a lot better about how this whole thing is going to be going in the coming weeks.
Yeah. I was about to say one of my students is a doctor, I think maybe even a surgeon. And I took 10 minutes of her lesson. I gave her 10 minutes on the other end. I said, I just got to ask you about this vaccine. I want to know what you know. And I said, a lot of people have this question of like, okay, so it took 15 years to make one before. Why did it only take a year? And people are doubting whether it's safe. And she said, look, everything that we learned up to this point, we were able to apply to this. That's why it was easy to make it happen a little quicker. And we only would use maybe 10,000 people to test it. And this time we used 50,000 people. So she said, and it's very safe. And it's very
a completely different technology. The mRNA is a different technology completely than other vaccines. So they had been working on that technology for many years. And when this virus came out, they tailored it for that. So but it's just good to talk to someone that's right in it and give me, because I've been a little, it's hard. Like you're hearing, there's a lot. I live in upstate New York, so there's a lot of people that are radicalized, and it's really scary. So you hear a lot of things that frighten you. You have to keep your eye on the ball, man.
And of course, you're, California right now, you're really in the epicenter of, it's.
Right. Yeah, we're in the, we were told by maybe the health director of Los Angeles County, leaving your house puts you at high risk.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I take very long walks every day. I take 5-mile walks every day.
Wow, good for you. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while most people are wearing their masks, I do pass old people, and they're older than me, so I know they're old people. And I'm just like, oh, why aren't you wearing a mask? You're old. You're very high risk. I just don't understand the lack of.
Because they say I can remember hearing it can stay in the air. Like if you're walking and you pass through the mist, you're done.
Yeah. So
you have to wear a mask. There's no question. Listen to this funny story. Wait, I got to tell everybody a funny story. And then we're going to talk all about you, but I got to tell you this. This is funny. All right. So I went in to get my wine, which is something I'm known for.
Ditto.
And it was kind of a country, it is a country liquor store. So I'm in there, and this real fat little round guy with his ball cap, and he had a black eye, and he looked like he needed a bath, and who knows what. He comes in, and I'm standing there, and he goes, "You can move up, ma'am." And I said, "I'm not going to move up because the man at the counter has his mask under his nose, and I'm going to stand away." He goes, "Well, don't you worry about a thing. He's not going to bother you because I got guns."
Oh my God.
Like, oh, I feel so much better now.
Shoot that virus.
That's what my daughter said.
Man.
Oh my God.
That's the problem with America. Everybody's logical brains are turned off. It seems like.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, common sense has gone out the window the last 10 months.
Evidently.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to musically? Tell us.
Well, at first, when this started, I, like you and everybody else, I had a bunch of gigs and concerts that were canceled. And I just made a commitment to myself at the beginning that I would work on my singing and my technique and just singing every single day, which I did. Every night I was, I still take voice lessons, and I was practicing and just working on things. And then I had an opportunity to make an album. So I started the wheels in motion on that, and it was material that I had done some of it in live performance, I had already had many arrangements, in fact, almost all of them done already. It was really for a show. It was kind of the third iteration of a show that I've done before, starting in 2010. So that was 11 years ago, called Back to the Garden. And it was songs from the 60s that I had worked with my pianist arranger, my very talented pianist arranger, Jeff Kalala, and also had a couple of arrangements from Josh Nelson. So I decided that I would just put it together as a CD. And we did end up doing a couple of new things that were added, but now it's done. I just finished it last week, and I had terrific help from Jeff and from the engineer Tally Sherwood. We recorded 5 minutes from my house in Glendale at Tritone Studios, and we did it all very safely. We always wore masks. Obviously, I didn't when I sang, but you know, you're in an ISO booth, so who cares? You know, nobody got near me. So we were all very safe and disinfected and kept our distance and masked up, and we stayed safe. So I'm very grateful that I was able to do that. And I'm excited about the new project. And this is the first time I've commissioned background vocals on my CD. So that's
what's the flavor? Did you try and pay homage to the era in a way? Or did you just do the Judy thing?
I think the overarching gestalt of it, because what it is a collection of 10 songs from the 60s with several protest songs. So we did some protest songs by Dylan. We recorded For What It's Worth and the Youngbloods Get Together. And some other songs that are more like love songs, like Up on the Roof and Everybody's Talking, which really isn't a love song, but we did, Jeff arranged a beautiful string quartet for the Judy Collins tune, Since You've Asked. And so it's the first time I've recorded with background vocals. It's the first time I've recorded with strings, and except for my other CDs have had cello on it, but never a string section. And so it's a different kind of project. I think the overall gestalt is definitely a 60s vibe with a jazz pop flavor, because I think background vocals and we also, Jeff had an idea to, we work with Larry Koontz, who is a good friend of ours, who is a phenomenal, as you probably know, guitarist. I'm sure you've worked with him, Nancy, right?
I haven't, but I'm certainly respect him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just he's one of the most respected musicians in Los Angeles. But Jeff's idea was to use also an electric guitar, like more of a rock guitarist, to supplement some of the stuff Larry was doing. So on some of the songs, there's different kinds of guitars, more than one at the same time. So
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that. I love to mix stuff like that. I did that on my last record. I had Paul Bollenbeck play, and he plays 2 or 3 styles. So I says, rock out, baby.
Rock out. So, you know, I don't know what it is. I've sent it to a couple of people. They haven't really listened yet. But nobody's really heard it except me and Jeff and Tally and my husband, Alan. So, you know, we'll see. I was able to get distribution right away. So from one of the people I work with, was really wonderful. A-Train, I'm going to be distributed on A-Train, and I believe it'll come out in May is what I'm
exciting. That's really exciting. I mean, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. I mean, it had to be nice, especially after the world changed, just to be able to get back into a recording environment and create this music with people that you respect. I mean, I'm sure that being in the studio for this particular recording had an extra special meaning after,
Yeah, and especially the music she picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun, and it was a lot of work, which I enjoyed doing. And at one of the sessions, I ended up throwing out one of the songs that I did, and because it just didn't fit, I thought it would be perfect.
I have a
It was
story.
something I had recorded.
Finish that, and then I have a story.
Yeah, I wanted to re-record this one song that I had done at this point, 8 years ago, and do it kind of in a different groove. And so we did that, and I was like, it doesn't really work. So I threw it out, and Jeff did this crazy arrangement of the Joni Mitchell song Big Yellow Taxi, which I thought was fabulous. And, so I had to bring the whole band back, plus Danny Janklow, who was playing alto sax. And I actually, after we were done, I had to kick everybody out of the studio because everybody, there were some people like, I'm nervous. I don't want to, I said, well, I think it's safe, but do what you think is right. I'm not, whatever you think is right. And so they were all there. They were all masked. And then I was like, guys, I have to move on. So can you split? Because it seemed like everybody was so hungry to just be with each other and play with each other.
Yeah.
So that is, it's something that's really kind of sad, but when we have situations like this where you can make something happen, I think it can be a lifesaver certainly for me. So
well, you got to watch what you wish for, because I have to drive an hour wherever I go, because you're the same way in LA. Not that it takes an hour, to get anywhere. So I used to say, oh, I wish I didn't have to go sing tonight. Well, I got my wish. Here I am.
In spades. Yeah.
And I can vouch that this woman has had to drive many miles to get to gigs, and not in the greatest weather, especially this time of year. But she finds a way to do it. Nance, I know you need to tell that story.
Oh, I was going to tell a story. So when I was doing my organ trio record, Be That Way, we had studio time left. And I go, well, let's just blow on something. And Dino goes, let's do Please Don't Talk About Me When I'm Gone. And I'm going, oh no, it's kind of jive, man, really? So, but anyway, so we put it down. It gets more plays than anything on the record.
Wow.
Anything on the record. It's
always funny. Eric, you can, because you're a DJ.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me that in my current, we'll talk about it, I guess, but with what I do with artists in my job that I have with my company, I always have thoughts about whether, now radio is not my thing, whether I'm not a radio promoter, whether a track is going to get airplay. And so you present somebody else's music to a radio promoter, and they'll go, these 4 tracks are the ones we're going to pitch,
right.
And the rest, we're not going to, we don't think
focus,
it's going to get
focus tracks, right? Yeah.
Well, on my last album, Crowded Heart, I had a radio promoter kind of rate. He gave me a rating system for every single track, and no, it was Mike Carlson, actually. And
Mike.
He rated everything. And then he said, this one song is no one will play this on the radio. And as it turned out, and Mike got me on KJazz, our local LA station.
Which is impossible for some reason.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but that song that nobody will play on the radio was one of the 3 that they kept in rotation for quite a few months. And so I just thought, well, nobody really knows what anyone's really going to do.
And shouldn't the artists though really have a lot to say about that anyway? Don't you think we
Well,
know?
they have their preferences on what they would like to see get radio airplay, but and Eric, you can speak to this better than we can, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but ultimately everybody's got their own show. It's the cocktail hour, it's the the morning drive time, it's the dinner time, it's the night, they've all got their various shows that they need a certain kind of feel to fit into that slot. And so they're going to pick what they think works.
Well,
so no, it doesn't really matter what the artist thinks.
And I've got, yeah, it's sad.
Nice.
It's sad that the artist is at the the bottom of the list as far as what songs they feel are the most radio friendly. I'm actually going to put up a shot of your
What a
2019
beautiful photograph.
It really is. And I'll tell you what, Judy, I heard an interview you had done with I believe it was NPR when this record came out. I think you spoke with Susan Stamberg of NPR. And you made a point that resonated with me so much because, again, having been in radio for 25 years, it could not be, it was so right on the button. You talked about when records get sent to programmers, of which I was one, you always want to make sure that the very first track on a record is a key track and one that grabs the programmer's attention, because sometimes a programmer like myself, and believe me, I used to get stacks and stacks of music, and I put in Judy Wexler, Crowded Heart. If the first cut is a ballad, I usually would go through the rest of the CD, but usually I would prefer the first track on a CD to be something mid-tempo, up-tempo. I want it to grab me right away. And even if I only hear 10 seconds of it, already you've got me hooked. And you talked about it in that interview, how important it is, and Nancy knows this too from having recorded, the first track on any record, regardless of what your promoter might think, regardless of what other people say, the very first cut could be the determining factor on how much airplay that record gets on a particular station. So I love the fact that you realize that, right out of the chute, you want to make sure that the programmer likes what they hear. So
why don't we play the first track from this record?
You know what? I think, why not?
Why not?
Why don't we do that?
I don't think Judy has any objections.
I haven't heard it.
I don't have it. We're not going to do video this week because, we got our little patties slapped.
Oh, now Denise has put me on the spot here. Oh boy. Okay. What do I do with a ballad album?
Boy.
Yeah, that's a good question. What would you do with, there have been very successful ballad albums.
Yeah, I think it depends on the
Art Allison's ballad album.
It depends on where you are in the show.
I think
it depends on what time of day it is.
Yeah,
all of those things. Yeah,
I did an afternoon program, and I certainly worked ballads into my show. I wouldn't necessarily play 3 in a row at 2:00 in the afternoon, but absolutely an album of all ballads would still work. It just depends on where it would fit into the show. So Denise, absolutely, I would certainly still play a ballads album, especially if I knew that was the concept of the album. So,
well, I'll just offer too that there's a certain random element to everything. I think radio, PR, all sorts of things. It just something has to hit you because anyway. One of the tracks of mine on Crowded Heart that did end up getting quite a bit of airplay was a ballad. It's Only Smoke. So I just think it just depends on what the show is.
They'll play that one.
Cocktail hour.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
Ballads
I still
ballads are
have a
so.
dream of making a record of all ballads and bosses. I want to do that. Because sometimes I
And
get tired of hollering.
this album was only all medium tempos. I think the fastest tempo track was track number 1. So,
Right.
and there wasn't one swing groove on the
Right.
entire album.
Well, let's play a little bit of that
Yeah,
track.
please.
And we won't play the whole thing, but we'll play enough to get a good feel of what it's
Can
about.
I just set it up? This is, can I set it up?
Go ahead, dear.
This track was written by Luciana Sosa and Larry Klein, her husband, and David Bateau, and it's called Circus Life. It's about the crazy life we live, especially here in Los Angeles.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh wait, I need to share. So wait, everybody be patient with me. I'm a little goofy with this every now and then. Okay, I need to share the computer sound. Oh, I love that.
You find the strength, you lose your voice, you find some peace, you miss the noise. You find your chance, you crash your car, you lose your way and find your heart. You reach your goal and it's your end. You lose your life when life begins. You make it back, but you're not home. Where is that peace you've known? Day and night, day and night. In the circus life, in the circus life. Loose or tight, loose or tight. In this circus life. You finally stand up on your feet, but earthquakes shake you in your sleep. Savor a moment, you're not broke. The streets go up in fire and smoke. You try to shake your misery. The cure is worse than the disease. You book your flight, you cancel twice. You long for beans and rice. Day and night, day and night. In the circus life, in the circus life. Wrong or right, wrong or right. In the circus life.
So that's
Oh,
lovely.
it really
That
is.
So
Thank you.
it just-
That
Hmm.
was Alan Pasqua. This whole project was co-produced and arranged by Alan Pasqua, and with dark old Steve Haas on drums, Aron Safarti on percussion, and who else was, and Larry Kuntz.
Yeah.
on
Was
guitar.
that him on the not?
Yes.
So the background parts, did you do that? Just you thought, oh, I got a good idea, I'm going to do that, or was
Yeah, that actually came about. Do you know Sina E, the fabulous Danish singer from Copenhagen?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she was over my house while I was working on this, and she gave me some ideas. So I
isn't
think
that
that
something?
was her telling me, why don't you do this? And I went,
Hmm.
oh, okay, I will. Whatever you say, I'll do whatever she says. So, there's Alan.
Yeah, I figured we'll give Alan a little screen time. Why not?
Yeah,
Alan's
Alan's
mean,
pretty
you're-
awesome.
your partner in
Yeah.
crime.
My
Yeah.
partner in crime. And also, my very, very, very dear friend, Barbara Brighton, was an associate producer, and she helped me a lot as well. And so that was the band and the team. Tally Sherwood engineered it. He's a buddy and a great engineer.
He's a bunny?
Buddy, not a bunny.
Oh, I said a bunny.
He's a buddy.
I love bunnies
thought for a
too.
I thought for a second too. She might. Yeah, right.
No, wait. Can you imagine, Eric? Can you see the way we are? We should when us girls are together. Oh my God. Oh, we have such a good time.
Yeah, I can only imagine the amount of wine that was
No,
consumed.
we're not too big. We're not too
I
great.
think it's
Although
time for
Denise,
mine now.
Denise and I tied one on once over at the Vitello's one night.
Oh
We were
gosh.
having a good time.
I bet.
Well,
Um,
God bless.
Gee.
I love LA. I say it every time I have someone on from LA. I just love it. I
I
could
do
live-
too.
I
I know
was going
it's.
to ask you. I heard a little accent in there. Are you from back east somewhere?
Well, it's funny you say that because I was born and raised in the mid-Wilshire district of Los Angeles.
Really?
But I would just want to say that I went to college in Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz. And I don't know why, but so many people, they would always ask me, where are you from? Are you from New York? And I was like, no, I have a California dialect for sure. And I don't know why you say that. And then I met my future husband when I was 23 years old. He lived upstairs from me in San Francisco, and he's from Brooklyn. He was born in the Bronx, and he grew up in Brooklyn. And
there's a little dialect osmosis going on here.
and so I, but when we went, we would go to Brooklyn a lot to visit his parents before we even got married. Every year we would visit, and he took me to Brighton Beach where he lived.
Yeah,
And
man.
the entire beach, I looked around and I thought, oh, okay, I get it. I look like everybody on this beach. I fit in just so well. And it's just an ethnic thing, in terms of the way I speak though. I don't, if there's any New York in there, it's because of Alan. But I don't think there is. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. My parents were from the East Coast, but they were
That's it. There
they
it is.
were from Montreal. but they
There
were
it is.
from-
That's what I was picking up on. I was saying, is she Canadian?
Ah,
So, we learn, well, I can hear that because I work diligently at losing my upstate New York accent. It is hideous. But,
I don't even know what an upstate New York accent.
oh, it's like this, like him, and like,
oh.
like that, the phone,
I could
It
just
was a
listen.
It sounds
Oh.
almost Midwestern to me.
It is. It's
Oh,
sort of. It
oh.
is a little bit, but it's also a little Canadian in a weird way.
Oh.
Like go out, go out. There's a whole.
Yeah.
So anyway, I heard that in there, but now we know. See, because we learned to speak from our parents, so you learned the words and the way that they spoke them. So it's in there, even though it was
That's
already in there
fine.
before you were a young lady in LA. So that's cool.
Now you mentioned your husband, Judy. Your husband really, is it true? Your husband really was very influential in getting you into jazz. Is that right?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, let's hear
Because
that story.
yeah. So we, when I was in college, I remember because I had studied classical piano since I was, I studied piano growing up from the age of 5.
Yep.
And then when I went to college, I was studying classical piano intensely. You had to audition for this classical teacher, and it was very nail biting.
Yeah.
But she accepted me, and I was in those practice rooms probably 2 hours every single
Oh.
day practicing. I don't think I was any good, but I was practicing piano. And so then I don't know what happened, but somebody must have influenced me there, and then said I decided I wanted to take jazz piano So I did. And the teacher stuck a lead sheet. I remember this, it was Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage.
Oh,
And
great.
he put the lead sheet on the piano, and with just lead sheet, chord changes, play it. And I looked at him like, I play stuff that's all written out. I don't play chord changes because I don't know how to play those. You know, especially with extended jazz harmonies.
Yeah, well, you
have to
want
learn
it mapped out. Yeah, it's not mapped out.
Yeah. So then it's a totally different thing to learn jazz piano, especially not that way. That wasn't the best way of learning it.
Right.
But because it made me feel bad. So then it's like, oh God, I'm such a loser. I can't do this. Well, nobody taught you, or you don't know what to look for. So, but then when I graduated, and I was a psychology major and a theater major, it was not a music major. So when I graduated, I moved to San Francisco. I was an actress actually, and I had a theater group with some of the people who had come with me from Santa Cruz. We had a theater group in San Francisco that we produced everything ourselves. And then I met Alan. I was 23. I met Alan a year after I graduated college. And we moved to North Beach together after 4 months of hanging out. He was my downstairs neighbor. So we just moved from that place in the Haight. We were in the Haight, and we moved to North Beach, which happened to be just blocks from Keystone Corner. And Alan had already been a big jazz fan.
Right.
You know, he had all these cassettes of everybody. And so he was always schlepping me to Keystone Corner, which I loved. And I remember that the cover charge, and Todd Barkin just posted some weekly schedules, and I was like, I was there at that concert.
That
I was
fun?
at that concert.
That's
and
fun.
The $7 cover charge.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, wow, $7. That's a lot of, like, I always felt like I could never afford it. You know, there was that I just couldn't afford $7 cover charge and two drink minimum. But we went and we saw shows there all the time. So thank the universe for that, because that was an incredible education, and it was fabulous. It was just fabulous.
And you've been together close to 40 years of marriage now, right?
No more. This year will be 39 years of actual marriage, but we've been living together 42 years. So I think we're lifers at this point.
Yeah. Nobody you'd rather quarantine with than Alan.
That's right. No, we stay laughing.
Oh.
You know, we keep laughing.
That's the key to it. That's the key to it.
Is.
My bet one of the longest relationship I had was because we laughed. That's all we did was laugh and party.
Have to laugh.
Those are laughing.
You have to laugh. You have to find laughter even in the darkest of times, you know, and it's nice to have somebody to laugh with.
Alan, he's a funny guy, you know. He gets a lot of eye rolls from me, but he's a really funny guy. So I'm very lucky.
Well, a lot of my jokes get eye rolls too, you know. I have that groaner type humor, so.
I wouldn't be doing my job as a wife if I didn't roll my eyes, I think.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that is it's just, I mean, 39 years, that's just fantastic. And I mean, did you ever think that you would go down the acting road? I mean, I know you just briefly talked about acting. I mean, did you have a yearning to maybe not go the musical route and maybe try
Yeah, let's find out when the singing happened. Like, when did the singing thing happen?
Well, when I lived as I said, I was a theater major. I got my degree in theater arts and psychology. I got them in both. and then I did this troupe, it was a kind of women's theater. So we had a nice big audience in San Francisco, and it was called Caught in the Act, a theater collective of 4 short women. And people who are tuning into this don't know that, if you don't know me, I'm not standing next to Nancy Kelly, so you can't tell how very tiny I am.
My daughter would call you fun size.
I am fun size. I'm definitely fun size. And so I'm a petite woman, and so we were all small. All 4 of us were short, and so we called ourselves Caught in the Act, a theater collective of 4 short women. And we did political theater. It was the 70s, so it was around 77, 78, and we did a lot of political theater, and we did comedy. We juggled clubs. Actually, we were friends with the Flying Karamazov brothers. I don't know.
Oh, good grief!
Do you know who they are? Do you know who they were?
Yes.
You do?
I know a little bit about them.
Yeah. Well, Paul and the other leader, they actually went to Santa Cruz, and I remember them juggling on the lawn all the time. But then we all moved to San Francisco, and we used to get together with them in Golden Gate Park and pass. This is crazy. We would do this line with them and pass clubs, and the person in the front of the line pass the club to the person in the back. I mean, I don't know how I was able to keep pace, because there's one woman in our group who was a seriously excellent juggler, and she was actually on the Gong Show. Remember that show?
My God.
She won like $100,000 on the Gong Show.
Oh my God! Look at these guys.
I never thought I would be sharing this with Judy Wexler, but
Wow. Look at them. They look. God, who's the guy in the middle? He looks so old now.
Yeah.
I don't think they're still around.
Are they the original ones? Is this a?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, because so much time has gone by. This guy here looks too young to have been in the original group.
Probably not. I love what it says though. Underneath it says, "Their looks can kill, their show can slightly injure."
That's true, because they juggled knives. They juggled knives.
That would make me nervous. I don't.
They were the best.
I've got
anyway. So we did that show for about a year and a half. We actually did a tour of the West Coast as well. And then after that, we did our own thing, and I was in a bunch of plays in San Francisco. I was in plays and musicals. And
so is that where you started? When did you start singing?
Well, let's think.
In the musical?
I have to go back a few years. So what happened was I had decided to quit acting because it was very depressing. It's very difficult. And unlike music, you're basically by yourself. With music, even if you're by yourself, you can practice by yourself and you can make a huge difference. Of course, just doing your technique or you're working on stuff all by yourself, you can make things happen. But with acting, not so much. So it's a kind of a lonely thing. I was on a couple of TV shows, but I was on a Frasier that I still get royalty checks for. In fact, I just got one. But that was from 23 years ago. I was in a Frasier that was about Cheers. It was the show where Diane comes back, is what it was called. And Shelley Long is coming as Diane from Cheers to present this play that she wants Frasier to be a backing producer of. And the curtain opens, and it's the cast of Cheers, but they're all kind of lookalikes of the Cheers characters. So I played the Rhea Perlman character of instead of Carla, they called her Darla.
Right.
So so that was interesting to audition for that, because it was pretty funny. But and then I did like a divorce court, which was an actual It was all scripted.
I remember that
It
show.
was like pages. It wasn't a reality show. It was all scripted. I remember I had to memorize pages and pages and pages. And, and actually that's what helps me as a singer is that I never have a music stand. I have a music stand, but only for set lists. I don't look at lyrics when I sing ever.
Oh, you're lucky.
But
Wow.
the acting, being forced.
You learned how to memorize. Yeah, I don't.
Gave me those tools to be able to do that.
The older I get, it's harder for me to remember them too. Yeah, hate to say that.
So basically, somebody in and then I did the groundlings. I decided I wanted to be quicker on my feet, so I decided to enroll. And if you're not familiar with the groundlings, like that in LA and Second City in Chicago is where a lot of the Saturday Night Live people came from.
Sure.
It's like one of my teachers ended up being on Saturday Night Live back then. It's Pat. I don't know if you remember her. She was this.
Oh yeah, the
androgynous character,
unisexual. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So she was a teacher, and her husband was a teacher. And I saw her, It's Pat, like perform for the first time at the Groundlings. They were trying it out. But anyway, so I did that for a while, and then somebody in that class said, "I'm going to Dick Grove Music School, and I'm gonna study piano." And I went, "You know what? I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna do it with you." So I went to Dick Grove, and that was a big music school. It wasn't just jazz, it was rock, it was all genres. But it was a 24/7 music school. And so I ended up taking jazz piano with a really great singer, pianist, Joyce Collins. Eric, I don't know if you ever got she was very good friends with Blossom Dearie, and
I don't.
Fishberg was her boyfriend at some point, and she was a lovely kind of Blossom Dearie-like singer pianist.
Okay.
And I don't think her output was that prolific, but anyway, I loved her. And then I ended up studying voice with Sunny Wilkinson for 5 minutes because she ended up moving away.
I know Sunny. Where did she end up going? I forgot.
She's in Michigan. She got married, and this was many years ago, and 20 some odd years ago. I studied with Kathy Siegel Garcia for a while, and Sue Rainey for a while. And anyway, so I eventually got my first gig. Kathy gave me my first gig.
Oh,
she's so pivotal out there. I want to talk about your voice, because I feel like your voice, for me, really there's a word. All the words are escaping. I hate this when this happens. It really represents to me a very LA sound.
Oh, interesting.
A very LA sound. I feel like it's very chill. It's not like me. I'm in your face. I mean, when I sing, I'm like, I'm so New York. It's like ridiculous. I can remember Chris, the bass player. Colangelo. It's like, whoa, he went. Anyway, but you are this wonderful, to me, representation of what LA feels like and sounds like. It's sort of a combination of, it's jazz, and it's also there's just that whole Joni thing in there. Do you like Joni Mitchell?
Sure, who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't? I know.
How can you not like her?
I know, but I mean, it's wonderful. I love your voice. Just makes me go,
Oh, thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well,
and the arrangements are fantastic.
I'm lucky to work with Jeff Kalella and Alan Pasqua. They're both great arrangers.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I'll second that from having played your recordings. I mean, going back to your what was your first?
Easy on
Was
the
it
Heart. I
Easy on the
remember you
Heart?
playing it. You know, I remember you playing it.
Yeah, and that was 2000.
I'm glad you guys know each other. I forgot to even ask if you had met.
Yeah. Hey, Judy, my name is Eric Cohen. Great to meet you. We're only an hour into the show, but now I don't know if I was telling Nancy earlier in the week. I don't think. I mean, God, I probably did hundreds of interviews in my 25 years at WAER. I don't know if we ever had the chance to do a.
Yeah, I don't remember. I
A
feel
phone
like
interview.
maybe we did, but I don't know for
We
sure.
might have, but I certainly was there going back to your first recording, and unfortunately I left the station in 2017, so I didn't have a chance to give airplay to Crowded Heart.
Crowded Heart, yeah.
You know, but I've been able to enjoy the tracks, and I'm very much looking forward to this 60s themed
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. I can't
release
wait to hear that.
in May. But yeah, even though we've never actually formally spoken, we're both part of the same.
I think we spoke on the phone. I'm pretty sure we have.
Well, yeah, I'm sure we did, and you're as lovely now as you were then, and it's
Just
We
a
know
lot
Mary
older.
that. You can always say that to us.
but it is fascinating to hear Nancy talk about like an LA sound.
There is a sound. It's a sound. It's different. And I've talked about it in interviews. Upstate New York, especially, we have a very fiery approach. Not everyone. I mean, there's some laid back people, and they got a laid back sound, but in general, it's a little more fiery. And I think it has to do with fighting snowdrifts. I'm not sure.
Comes out and
I'm
you're
not
singing.
sure. Or guys in the liquor store
So-
with guns.
So I mean, and this is an odd question. I guess I have to throw this question to my co-host. I mean, like when you've done gigs out on the West Coast with some fantastic musicians out there,
Beautiful musicians out there. Oh my
but
God.
do they like when you first worked with them for the very first time, were they like, whoa, this is
Well,
a little
first of all,
this is a
you
little
No, I'll
in
tell
your
you.
face,
They are the guys that I work with, first of all the A-list players, just like Judy.
Right.
And these guys are jazz guys. So they react to what they hear.
Sure.
They're when I light into something, they're right there. Like Eric Reed just went on fire. He just like he said,
Yeah,
well,
he's
I'm gonna slap her ass. But guess what? I slapped his back. And Kevin Canner's
I
like,
have no doubt.
why should I go home now? Because these two are like.
Oh gosh.
So
And-
I mean, Tamir Hendelman is wonderful. Who else on the piano out there? Oh, you know who I loved so much? Lou Matthews. I used to use him a lot. He spelled his name L-L-E-W. Lou Matthews. Do you know him?
Sure. I think he's still around.
No, he moved.
No, I mean, I think he's still
He's alive. Yeah,
and
right.
I
That's
think-
yeah.
think.
Yeah, he's alive. He's not in LA anymore. But there's
Yeah.
a lot of great players.
Well, there's amazing musician. Mauro Ruiz is phenomenal. Bill Cunliffe, Jeff
Oh.
Colella.
oh my God, unbelievable musicians.
Yeah, there's Josh Nelson. Yeah, that was from a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
That
I happened to find this picture. Actually, I found it about a half hour ago. I said if I can sneak it in, I'll try. Since you just mentioned Jeff's, that's Jeff, right?
That's Jeff, and that
What a
was
sweet person.
taken in 2006. Actually, we were both younger then, and
We all were.
and there's that hair that I had.
Yes.
That was in Quebec, actually.
Oh,
That picture was taken at a place called Largo in Quebec. We did a couple of gigs at Upstairs Jazz Club. Nancy, you've played there, right? At
No.
Upstairs? That's a great club. And,
I would like to. I don't know what. That's a long story. I actually my agent is actually in Montreal, and he is
oh,
not.
good.
Yeah, but
We
he's
should-
not been successful at getting me at the Montreal Jazz Fest
I-
or the Upstairs Jazz Club.
They,
So I don't
you know, they have some roadblocks because
of Americans and money in
Canada, unlike the United States, of course, sponsors their artists. And so all of their radio airplay has to be a certain percentage of Canadian artists. Wouldn't that be amazing if we have things like that here? And well, it's mostly US players anyway, but their content for radio has to be a certain percentage. And it's actually not cheap to get the visa that you need to
there's
go
a
to
thing.
Canada
There's
and
a thing.
perform.
Mhm.
So it's several $100s, and a lot of presenters just aren't willing to pay.
They don't want to mess
pay
with
for
it.
it.
They don't,
You
and
know,
I
unless
get
they
a
have a
ton
huge
of airplay in Canada. I get a lot of airplay.
That's
in Canada.
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, still to this day. So it's just one of those funny things. I don't know. I feel I've been having like a little bit of depression lately, feeling like, I mean, I'm just being older and just not feeling very marketable. You know, everything is. How do you see the business going for jazz singers like us that are not 25?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball or anything, but I think if you're still active and you're still it's always the thing of what are you putting out? Fortunately and unfortunately, because as we know, it takes quite a bit of money to make an album. So when I used to work for Dick, when Dick LaPalm, who Eric, I'm sure you know him.
Love Dick. Yeah,
he was my radio promoter for a couple of albums. Most notably, my second one, Dreams and Shadows, and he would say to me all the time, and we were friends. You know, I considered him a mentor. He is someone I could just talk to about anything and ask his advice, and everything he said. I adored him.
And one of his best friends of all time was Nat Cole.
Yeah, I heard from his family that his dying words were "See you soon, Nat."
Yeah,
cool.
They were very tight.
So yeah, he was very connected to him even after Nat died, all those decades afterwards.
Yeah.
But he would say to me, Judy, you got to be on the air all the time. And I was like, Dick, I'm not like rich. You have to have money to make an album.
Yeah, but at least you're out there.
That's what I told Nat. I told Nat this, so I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what breaks my heart. I mean, I'm still paying for my last record, so I can't even move forward at all. And I'm not going to get a label because I'm not marketable. So I mean, not anymore. There's only 4 labels now, and they take only the very young and people.
Well, I don't even. You know what? Honestly, I don't look to labels.
No, but I'm saying if I'm going to make a record, I don't have any money to make a record.
Right.
And I've got tons of ideas. I was working on ideas today because I believe very much in manifesting. Start the thinking. Here's what I want on this record. Start it, watch if it comes in. But it's changed a lot. I mean, I had a label for years, but that's all gone.
Yeah.
It's all gone. Unless you have backers.
I think now with the new paradigm, because, honestly, I had a label and I decided not to put out Crowded Heart on that label. It was Jazz Media. I decided to put it out myself on CD Baby because, and this is the reason, there were a couple of reasons, but one of the reasons was I felt I would make a lot more money if I put it out myself. And I was right. I did, because I ended up selling out the entire run. I sold out all my copies. People are still buying. I don't know who they are, but there are people who are buying physical albums. There may be a lot of people in Japan or what have you, or maybe they're older and they still have their CD players and that's the way they want to listen to it. But they're still doing it. So I just to answer your question, as an older singer, I think maybe you should do a single. You know, people are putting out singles.
Oh, I'm working on that.
So,
I got all kinds of things.
Something that's not as
Oh,
much
I'm all kinds of things. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. And it's so much more cost effective. And plus I can record all the vocals at home because I have a home studio here. So
that's great.
Well, and you can see Nancy's setup there. You know, she's got a nice little.
I got the whole thing going on.
Yeah, we just got to get you hooked up with a microphone so you can sing for us one of these shows.
Oh, that's hard to do actually, because the music, it's hard to sing to the, I don't know.
Oh, I was thinking a cappella, Nance. No?
I'm not gonna.
But no, it's weird hearing somebody talk about people going out and buying albums. It
But
seems
they
like
still do. The jazz people they love CDs. And now of course the trend is vinyl. But you know,
I know vinyl has made a comeback.
Yeah, it's a trend.
But as an artist, I just, you know, on the last album, I kind of looked at the prices to press vinyl, and it seemed like, you know, kind of at the end of what you're doing. You know, I did a crowdfunding for the last one.
Right.
Fortunately, I didn't have to do it for this new one, but I did it through Pledge Music during the time that they went bankrupt. So, so basically I don't mean to be harsh, but it's true that they basically stole they stole about $2,400 from my own CD sales, because I raised money by pre-selling my CD. And so I had all these CDs to ship out when my album went live and to fulfill my pledges, but I didn't get a big portion of the money because they kept it. That was unfortunate. Didn't help, you know.
Yeah. That's well. You have because of your own need and wanting to exploit yourself, which is what we all have to do. You know, you've learned a lot about the business and the marketing end of the business. And that's been very helpful, you know, in getting, like you said, you just got distribution, you know. Now, you're talking about overseas, like Japan and
everywhere, physical and digital
that's
distribution.
Wonderful. See, I didn't have that on my last record. I don't know how to get it.
Did you put it through CD Baby?
Yeah, I did.
Well, then you had it through them, but and when you released your album, it was around the same time or before I did. And so at that time they had everything, they had all cylinders firing. I don't know, quite honestly, what their physical distribution situation is right now. People have told me differing things, so I'm not quite clear, but I felt like I'd rather have a real kosher professional distributor to work with. So a label to me is not important. I'm going to put it out on my label, which is called Jewel City Jazz. And as long as I have distribution, that's really all I care about.
Yeah. Well, my last record, I was unable to get anybody to help me get the rest of it done. So I ended up, I work at a studio. And they actually kind of put it out on their label and assumed a lot of the debt from it, because it was a really expensive record. It was a good, it was a good 30,000 at least. Mm-hmm. And for us, that's, we're used to spending 20,000 without even batting an eye, but this one was a little more expensive. So
I don't think
I don't think people understand, and I'm not afraid to say that live, so people understand what we do for our art, what we do for you, so you can hear our art, and we continue it. We just don't stop, I want to share what all the love I have in my heart and in my head, and it's becoming harder to do. It is.
I mean, by the time the record got into my hands, and by the time I played it on the radio, like, I don't think people listening, and I don't want to generalize, but a large percentage of people, unless they're in the know, really have no idea what it took for the process it took, the genesis of the record to the time it actually gets airplay. I mean, it is, not only is it costly, but I mean, it's time consuming, and it's, I mean, yeah, it's a labor of love, but it's also a lot of what's the word I'm thinking of? A lot of legwork. Yes.
Yes, it's a lot. But Judy
yeah.
and I are both people who are good at doing that.
That's true.
We like it.
That's true.
Yeah, for my new one, it was a different process for me because I had a couple of musicians overdubbing remotely and just sending in their tracks. And so it felt like a different, I mean, we had live musicians, of course, in the studio, but, you know, I had Hendrik Merkins, the harmonica.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Played on a track, and Sarah Caswell, the violinist from New York, played on a track. And then Aaron Bentledge, who just got a Grammy nomination with Sage, the Sarah Gazarek and Joni Kendrick, that group. She did the background vocals.
She's out there now in LA too, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So
By the way,
it was more of a production for me. We had to kind of put everything together.
I noticed Nancy's eyes lit up earlier, and I realized we are running a little low on time, so I want to mention this. Nancy's eyes lit up earlier in the interview when you mentioned that you still take voice lessons, and I saw Nancy react to that. I mean, I just find it interesting that somebody.
Frank Sinatra had a vocal coach till the day he died.
Did he?
Did he really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, you know, I guess
Because we need someone to check our stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I work, you know, it's so funny because my teacher texted me yesterday and he goes, do you know Kate McGarry? You know, he's like a classical, but he also teaches all styles. You know, he teaches the kids with whatever they want to learn from Frozen or whatever they're working on. You know, he'll teach whatever. It's all technique. He's a technician. And he's certified, and you know, the technique that I'm working on with him is called the Mccloskey Technique. And Mccloskey was actually Rebecca Paris's uncle, David Mccloskey.
Oh, though, there's a singer.
Yeah, and it's really all about relaxing everything, you know, and kind of using the correct posture to breathe correctly, but just make sure everything is very relaxed, and you know, and I mean, anyway. But he texted me, he goes like, do you know Kate McGarry? And I went, of course I know Kate McGarry, you know. And I said, why? And he said, because she's the teacher in the certification I'm doing for this other technique called vocalogy. And so then he texted me again. He said, Kate was teaching today, and this has happened today, that Kate was teaching today, and she's so sweet. I was like, yeah, she's one of the most respected jazz singers around. She's a great singer. And actually, I coached with her for this album. You know, she helped me on a few tunes.
Wow.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a small world.
It is. And I guess, you know, you can never get tired of learning and always improving. And so I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, he helps me a lot. Because I still have habits that I have to be mindful of to not.
Well, I think because I'm teaching, because I'm teaching, I'm on my own, you know, bad habits all the time. It helps me stay in shape a lot. But now that I just put that little video out. And now what I'm gonna do every day instead of that is practice. Nay.
Hey, real quick, we have a couple of people who just dropped in to say hello. I'm gonna say I don't want to say your name, the last name wrong. Dolores Scasezi. She said, "Wonderful to see you all." Judy, hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
Yeah. And then
Hi, Bunny.
And then Nance, did you see who else who just hopped in? Hey, Judy, Nancy, and Eric. Nice to see you all. John Prue.
Hi, John.
You know, is John based
I've never
out on
met
the West
John.
Coast?
Is he what?
Is he based out on the West Coast, John?
Yes, he's here, and he's been here. He's kind of gone back and forth to Michigan to live
Okay.
over a span of many years, but he's here now.
Wonderful.
He's here, and he has a lovely family, and he teaches in various places, and he in the before times,
Oh my
he was
God.
performing his butt off, just singing and playing piano. And
Yeah.
and
That's
the
a
before
joke
times
that me and my
in many
manager
different
talk about. In the before times.
It was always working.
Remember before times?
Well, it's nice that we've had a number of your colleagues pop in tonight. Denise and Dolores and John. It's great. You know, it's
I don't know about
I
that,
miss
Rosalind.
my LA buds. I miss them.
I could talk about this. Rosalind said Astrid Gilberto has the West Coast flavor. I don't know. She is very authentically Brazilian, and I use her as an example all the time for people to understand how if they're going to do Latin music, to play homage to that sound in that country and the way it feels, you know. And she really
Who are you talking about? I didn't catch that.
Astrid
uh-huh.
Gilberto. Yeah.
Astrid is how it's actually pronounced.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, and all these years I've always said Astrid.
No, Astrid.
Astrid.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been possibly one of the most exhilarating, fun shows that we've done, Eric Cohen. Thanks to the wonderful Judy Wexler.
Look at her. I
Thank
mean,
you
she
for
just
having me. It's so fun to see you again and to.
Oh my God.
well, it's the first time you and I have actually seen each other. I mean, we did
You
fun.
look so familiar, so I feel like I've seen you before.
Well,
Or not only pictures.
I mean,
photos.
I loved you before this interview, but hearing you say the word gestalt twice and schlepping.
Remember, I was a psychology major.
Yeah, that's right. That's why you said gestalt twice. I knew it.
Studied Gestalt.
Gestalt. Oh, but
Look at you. You're so cute, Eric. I love this.
well, but I mean, and hearing her use the word schlepping, it's just, you know, that just takes me back to, we all use schlep. We all schlep. You
That's
know?
become part of what I call the American English.
Yes.
That's right. You know, it's so funny when I went to the, was it the Statue of Liberty or Ellis Island? Ellis Island. We went to Ellis Island a long time ago, and I don't know if it's still there, but there was, you know, it's kind of part of their exhibit. There was a pole with all sorts of street signs that in different directions
Yeah.
with different languages that, and all the words that they put on these signs had been incorporated into English already. You know, like cockamamie, for example. Now, cockamamie, and that was one of the words that was on the sign. And
I would
was like,
find that so interesting.
cockamamie, and it turned out, and I didn't know this, even though I grew up with my father using that word a lot, like all the time. Oh, what a cockamamie idea.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't know that it was Yiddish.
Yeah.
I never knew it was a Yiddish
we
word.
love Yiddish. Oh my God.
We love Yiddish.
do.
So,
Yes, we do.
love it. This
Yes,
country loves it. We use so many of those terms in terminology. My favorite comedians growing up were all these guys like that, like Myron Cohen. Myron Cohen was like a god to me.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with Myron Cohen.
Well, you're a little younger than Judy and I are.
But you sent me a video of Myron Cohen, and it was.
Oh, I did? I had to hit you.
Yeah, no, and well, nowadays, of course, you know, you can, no matter what age you are, you can learn about people on YouTube and all different platforms. So yes, now I'm familiar with one of my fellow Cohens.
Dolores said she remembers Myron
I see
Cohen.
that. Yeah, There's plenty
You know,
of.
I was watching the other night, which I don't know if you guys have discovered it, the Fran Lebowitz with Martin Scorsese.
Oh, I gotta start that. It's on my list.
It's called, what's it called? Like,
Pretend it's a city.
Pretend It's a City.
It's on
We
my
were
list.
laughing our butts off.
But you can say asses on this show.
We were
Oh, yeah,
laughing our
please.
asses off. It was
Please.
hilarious.
It's on my list. I gotta, but I'm not
Such a
gonna watch
curmudgeon.
anything until this is over. I gotta see Joe get in, and I gotta see all the rioters go home, and then I'm gonna relax again on my couch and watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I gotta
I'm
watch
with you.
because this is historical. What's going on?
And Nancy, I think there's no other way we should wrap this up. And I know Judy is going to get a kick out of this. We should wrap this up with a picture that I have been wanting to share since we started this show, and that is a picture of Pat.
Oh, it's Pat. That's
Pat, the
Julia
unisexual-
Sweeney.
That's Julia Sweeney, who was, again, that was your acting coach.
She was in the Groundlings.
Oh, she was in the Groundlings, but
It was
that's
actually her husband, Steve,
okay.
taught the beginning. I ended up going through the entire school over a period of 2 years, which was actually quite torturous. But her husband, Steve, was my first teacher at the Groundlings.
Interesting. But Nancy, that's her character from Saturday Night Live.
Ooh, that's
He was-
scary.
Androgynous, yes. But a very talented actress, Julia Sweeney. So
That's scary.
why not drop
She's
that
supposed-
in?
What is that shirt? Oh my!
I don't know, but
Well, are you familiar with her shtick? Because she's
I remember it. Yeah.
it's Pat, and you
Oh,
don't you don't know whether
You just
she's a
don't
man or
know.
a woman.
That's
they would-
the best spot. Yeah. It's like it's
And
very-
everybody who and the first the first sketch that they wrote was all about this that was her husband Steve who was her foil, but he was trying to find out, he was asking her every question he could think of to
I know.
find out if she would use
right,
he or she,
yeah,
because
And how long
couldn't
ago?
figure
was that?
out what gender she was.
How many years ago? How
Oh,
cutting
gosh.
edge that
This
conversation was.
was
This was the mid '90s, maybe.
That's
it was in the 90s.
we're
90s.
there now, but man, that's a long time ago. That's 40 years ago or 30 years ago.
But like you'd always be, she'd always
I
be
can't
teetering
feel
on
my-
the edge. Like,
I need more wine is what I need, and I'll be all right.
well, listen, we should let Judy go and enjoy of course, it's only 20 of 6.
Yeah, this is way over what we do, but we enjoyed every second of this.
We
week.
did.
Me too. Thank you so much. It's
So
so fun to
fun.
see you guys.
Loved it. Thank you
Miss
so much.
So much. And Eric might even trail out to LA with me one of these times. Hi, Eric.
Please.
Yes, I need to
Have
get
you
back.
ever been to LA, Eric?
Yes, I have. I've been to LA. I've been to Santa Monica. In fact, you mentioned Glendale, Judy. I actually have a friend who lives in Eagle Rock. Do you know where that is?
Of course, we almost bought a house in Eagle Rock,
Okay.
and then it was the day that we were going to show my parents the house. Like,
Okay.
look, Mom and Dad, this is the house Alan and I. It's our first house that we want to buy. The real estate agent called up and said, I have to disclose this. The woman next door was murdered.
Oh,
And I went, deal's off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
deal's off.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Oh,
because someone came to her door, asked for her car, and she said no, and he killed her. So I was like, I'm out.
It's not a good neighborhood.
no.
Well, it's probably a better neighborhood now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually a pretty cool neighborhood. They have a great college there, Occidental. But Glendale's pretty,
Yeah.
it's a good area.
But no, I will join Nancy, and we're gonna come out to the West Coast. And now, if you girls all get together for lunch, at
Oh,
the
we
Golden
always
Falls,
get together.
I'm not going to intrude on lunch with the ladies. So, but I would love to come out, see you perform, Judy, see Nancy perform, and enjoy some California sun.
Well, in the after times, because there will be after
There
times.
will be, yes.
There's the before times, there's the great pandemic of 2020, 2021. And then we're all going to get our vaccinations, and
Yes.
people are going to wisen up and wear their masks.
Yes.
And we will get through this thing,
Yes, we will.
and clubs will rise from the ashes, and new opportunities will happen, and people will perform again.
God
There you
bless.
go.
We gotta end
Wiser
on
words
that.
never spoken from our gorgeous, delightfully talented guest, Judy Wexler.
Absolutely. Love you, Judy. Thanks
We
so
love
much for
you.
joining us.
Take care. I'll see you in the after times.
That's right. Look
After
forward to
times.
it.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye, Nance. Bye, Judy.